Bad habit, if it moves gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet, lose won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
All right, I got Johnny down in the corner. There he is. How you doing?
I was like, is he gonna bring me up?
You were on. I just couldn't see you. Were down there in the bottom right corner. What's up, my friend?
That's all right. I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm good. Sorry about being late. That is my fault, and I hate being late. But Johnny, I've been working on my Q3 earnings summary video all afternoon, and I really thought I could get it out before we went live today. So when I drop that after tonight's live stream, and you guys hear me say, I hope to see you at 8:30. Well, now you'll know why, because I filmed the beginning of that video hours ago. But you know how it goes. It always takes longer than you think to put together a 5 to 10 minute video. It takes hours.
It never ceases to amaze me when I start a project or a video, how long I'll say, all right, I'll be done by, 6, 7. Next thing you know, it's 11 o'clock, Yeah. Like this morning, when you called me this morning, I went down a rabbit hole last night. The next thing I knew, it was 3 a.m. I'm like, oh my God, the market opens in an hour and a half, and I haven't caught a wink of sleep yet. This time creeps up on you when you're doing this kind of stuff, this constant digging and going through documents and reading, especially on the computer, man. It'd be different if it was a book, right?
Yeah.
And I just had to sit back and relax.
Especially when you're like reading 10 Qs and press releases and trying to make sense of all the financials that they're talking about. Like, I want to be able to explain it all correctly. And so I want to make sure that what I say when I'm filming is accurate, as accurate as I can be.
Yeah.
And that just takes time.
We try.
So, maybe we can talk about that tonight a little bit, but for those that don't want to watch a 1 or 2 hour live stream, I like to have the 5-minute summary video. So that'll be there as soon as we're done. Anyhow, and I went to go see a movie today. I went and saw After Death early midday. It was either that or Killers of the Flower Moon. And Scarlett really wants to see that one, and I didn't want to go and see it without her. So we'll do that this weekend.
I got to ask you, is that a female thing? Because I've been requested to see that movie as well over anything else that's out right now or been out in weeks.
After Death?
Yeah.
It's not a female movie. It's like a Christian. It's the same. What's that studio? Angel Studios.
Angel Studios, who did the Jim Caviezel movie.
Yeah. But I'll tell you guys, if you're thinking about going to see it, here's my synopsis, because I haven't put out a review on it yet. I usually just put a little blurb out on Twitter. If you are religious or what I'll call spiritually curious, you'll probably enjoy this movie. If you've ever been interested in after-death experience or near-death experience, not after-death, near-death experience, you'll probably enjoy this movie. It started off, I'm like, am I just watching a documentary or what? And it is kind of more of a documentary format than your typical movie. And I was getting really irritated in the first hour. They were introducing all these people and these characters and their stories, and then they just pivot to something else. I'm like, I'm going to give this movie a bad review if they don't circle back and close up what happened to all these people. And they eventually did, but some of them, it just took a whole while. That's how they just kept on introducing people and stories, and then eventually they came back to them as they told the story.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So there was it was based off multiple people's experiences.
Many,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, you'll enjoy this movie. If you're atheist or agnostic, don't waste your time. You know, it's not going to be your cup of tea.
All right, sounds good. I guess I'm gonna have to go see it because I'm interested in that stuff. Sounds exciting.
I was not disinterested. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I'm not going to give it a bad review. I grew up in a Catholic family. I've always been curious about that stuff.
And
All right.
did you wait real quick? Did you find that? Did you find any explanations for, like, was it near death experiences, stuff like that involved in this?
Every single story was somebody that had died and been resuscitated.
Okay.
And they shared their unique experience.
Did you find a commonality between their experiences? Anything that kept coming up repetitively, or that you correlate?
Yeah, I mean, like you have heard if you've looked into that stuff, and I'm guessing you probably have because you're a curious person like me. You know the typical things that people talk about when they have a near death experience where they're legally dead. The things they see. And I was curious, and as the movie started out, are they going to get into the people who didn't see the good place? And they did. They did actually get into a couple stories of people who did not have a good experience while they were gone.
Interesting.
It was kind of creepy. That, wait towards the end, you'll get into that. I was like, oh,
okay.
Shit.
All right. Sounds good. I'll take you up on your recommendation.
Let's see. Oh, I was going to say, let's say hi to some people.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead. Start us off.
All right. I see we got RA in here. Jersey Recyclers in the house. Ryan, what's going on, man? Dufresne, how you doing tonight? Magnetic Renaissance. Or Resonance, sorry. Magnetic Resonance. Tony S is here. Anya T. And IJWT AMC, looks like. Buy and hold with rockets and dollars.
Anya, how you doing? Tom, Justin, R.A., yeah, my fault for being late. Sparky Buchata, or is it Bukta? Sparky Bukta, what's up? Hey, Mass, I've been watching, I got in this really bad habit of watching Gaza Strip live. It's not about females unclothing. I know it sounds kind of R-rated. Gaza Strip live. No,
Gaza Strip live.
It's the live streams at night as the sun is coming up over in the Gaza Strip. There's a couple guys that have a cam or multi-cams, and they're running like a news channel. And I'm always laughing because they seem like relatively new YouTubers, and they're reading the comments and the super chats. And people make up these, the names where they're trying to get you to trip up and say something.
Yeah.
And he got really mad when he read one, and then it hit him about 60 seconds later. Like, next one of y'all that does that, you're banned. I don't care how much you super chat me.
Yeah. Yeah. They're catching people. I saw someone the other day that was starting a chant at a rally. And this is the craziest thing, because the people didn't know what he was saying, but he was actually speaking Hebrew, and he was saying the opposite of what they wanted to chant. But because people are so brain dead, they just started chanting along with it anyways, not realizing they were protesting against their own protest. It's crazy.
Did you see that guy? I think it was down in Panama, speaking of protests, that just shot 2 people on the highway.
Yeah, he looked tired. He looked sick and tired of the bullshit, didn't he? He looked fed up.
Well, that I don't think that violence is the way, but you keep on seeing people getting angry at these people blocking the streets. Now they're running them over with their cars. Now they're shooting them. Like, when are the police and the government going to step up and do their damn job? Protest on the fucking sidewalk. What is wrong with people?
I think they're encouraging this and not doing anything about it because at some point they want to be able to say, you no longer can protest. Like, they're waiting for something like this to happen, but on a larger scale, so they can shut down protests completely. Because, did you hear that Ukraine has canceled their elections this year?
No.
Just recently?
No, I haven't heard
so they
that.
canceled their election. Yeah. So Zelensky shut down no election this year. And, that's something that I wouldn't put past anyone if they wanted to say, you know what, this protesting has gotten too out of hand. People are getting killed now. So we got to stop all protests. That's my conspiracy theory on it. Anyways. But yeah, it was only a matter of time, right, before someone got violently violent, where people lost their lives, you know?
What was that movie
Crazy.
with Michael Douglas where he just had it?
Falling down.
Yeah.
Falling down. Yeah. Yeah.
That guy was like
Yeah.
that.
Great movie. Great movie.
I mean,
Yeah.
not to be callous, but if you're protesting on the highway and a gentleman pulls out a gun and starts waving it, I was just shocked. Like, how
Move.
many of those people were just standing around trying to have a conversation with them? Get the fuck out of
Crazy.
there.
Crazy. 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 You never know who you're going to roll up on, right? You got to be careful these days. Anyone could be armed at any point. You just don't know. And, you know, I feel bad for those protesters, but, and we see it in a lot of the West. It's happening. I saw someone was throwing paint up at one of the museums. I believe it was either in London or Paris just the other day.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're protesting against plastics and oil and all this stuff. And, you know, where they really need to be going to do that kind of stuff, they can't, right? I mean, if you really want to protest against that, you should be going to China, who has 10 times the carbon emissions that we do, right? But, of course, these people will not go do that because it's not in their best interest, let's say. But they can get away with it here in the West.
I don't understand what a painting did to them. Like, how is that helpful to your cause?
Ridiculous.
Just attention grabbing.
Yep. That's all it is.
Yeah, propagating plants parts. I considered at the beginning of this month just doing the no shave November, and I'm just rolling with it until I look like a hobo.
You're not doing a beard thing for GTII, right? Like Lou?
Until GTII squeezes along with finger. I'm not shaving. I'll be tripping over my damn beard, Massalorian.
Yeah, I saw finger was back down today.
2 years later. I remember that guy on Twitter. He's like, I've been trying to call out the shorts on GTII since 1981. I mean, he's serious too. I'm like, bro.
I know.
Come on,
that's
man.
the sad part, right? That's the sad part. By the way, did you see any news about the Treasury today? Did you see that we hit over we just went over $1 trillion?
I'll tell you what my day was. I woke up early at like 4:30. I was watching the stock. I didn't go to bed till like 12:30 or 1. No, I take that back. As soon as I finished my live stream, within an hour and a half, I went to sleep. I woke up at 12. I was up till about 2, and then I went back to sleep. Thank God. Woke up at 4:30 for pre-market. Fell back asleep at a horrible time, about 7:30 a.m. And then after I went back to sleep for 1 hour, of course, they dropped this damn prospectus that we're going to talk about tonight. Because I would have been snapping it up at $8.
I know.
By the time I woke up, it had already jumped back up to 9 or something. So
that candle was crazy in pre-market, huh?
My day was trading, then figuring out what I'm going to do, and then putting some more, locking some other plans in, trades for the day, went to see the movie, came back and worked on my video. I have not watched any news really at all today. It's been packed. And I don't watch TV. I get my news from the computer, and I haven't had time to check anything, not CNBC, not Fox, nothing. So what happened?
Well, according to Bloomberg, our Treasury interest payments, projected right now, just the debt pile climbed past $1 trillion at the end of October. So that's what we're looking at for the long term. And I saw Janet Yellen is borrowing more money. That's why I think the yields came down this weekend, right? There was a big drop. It's funny because the Fed and the Treasury are on two completely different pages right now, right?
They
the
often
Treasury
are.
Yeah. But I mean, you would think that the Fed right now, they want to obviously bring down the inflation to 2%. That's what Powell's been saying forever. But you have Janet Yellen here borrowing this money to try to save the administration's ass. Because the Fed can't do it, right? I mean, we're broke. The Treasury is broke right now, and the Fed can't bail them out. So, yeah, so it just went past $1 trillion, and that's not good. Not good.
TF Hatter, maybe that's, oh yeah, TF Hatter says, Tony, last night I got the impression you were leaning towards another dilution for AMC. There you go, being right again. I felt bad, guys, honestly, this morning when I woke up. If you stayed for the whole live stream, I got really, last night, we talked about earnings. I call it night because I fell asleep soon after. I just haven't been getting much sleep because of the Gaza Strip live and then waking up for pre-market. But when I finished the live stream last night, we were having very real conversation. And I said, I'm very concerned about three things. Number one, the actors strike. What happened right after we finished the live stream?
Done.
The actors strike got resolved. So that was beautiful. And number two, I'm worried about Q4 box office being so damn low, 600 million right now, when we need 2.6 billion ideally. And number three, I said the other thing I'm worried about is the risk of more dilution because I don't think they're done. And I think that they're probably worried about Q4 also. And yeah, sure enough, we got the actor strike resolved and we got the dilution. So I was right on two of them. Will I be right on all three of my concerns? I'm not trying to be bearish. I'm just trying to be as real as I can with you guys about how I look at things. Like I have my upside things that I look at, like my clickbaiter things. I'm really excited. This is why I'm in a play, but I'm also have my logical brain side. Like, here's the risks that you also have to consider. You can't just live in one side of your brain to be good at investing. You got to be able to think about both and realize either one can happen. And how do you position for that?
Yep. Yeah. I agree with you on all three. And I think, I think my biggest concern now that the strike is over, that was becoming my biggest concern, right? Because I think they got 120 days officially of no actors, plus the 150 or so days that the writers were off. You talk about a lot of lost time. I think we looked at the number last night, like $6 billion in revenue, for work and production down the drain, gone. Everything's being pushed back, right? So that was good that ended last night. I'm very excited that the writer strike, that the actor strike is over. But again, when you look at the end of this next 6 weeks that's coming up, we looked at the releases last night. There are really no blockbusters in there, and you're talking about another $2 billion we got to do in 6 weeks. It's going to be a tough call. So the dilution to me and raising this cash right now, looking at the balance sheets for when it's going to Q4 earnings comes out, I want those to look as good as possible. I want to continue this, what we've had, like a nice bullish couple earnings, right? Beating Wall Street on their speculation. I want that to continue. And again, this happens every time with AMC when we have these runs like this, and then we see right before earnings, it comes up and then it drops almost instantaneously after earnings are over. This is nothing new. All of us who have been in this place since early 2021 have seen this multiple times.
Anya asked a question, which I have up on the screen here. Why didn't Adam Aaron wait just a few days for the good news before diluting? I mean, the price was already coming down while he was talking, Anya. And I think that just like I'm looking at the Q4 box office and I'm concerned, I think I'm a pretty reasonable person. I think that I've been pretty correct about the things that management was going to do. And I think that they're also equally concerned about Q4. And, if the box office comes in low, like 1.8 billion, the earnings is going to be bad. The cash burn is when the earnings looks bad, like if it looks like we lost 200 million on the income statement, some of that is not cash spend, right? Amortization, depreciation, but probably half of it is. So if we lose 200 million on the income statement, we'll still probably burn 100 million in cash. And I think that they also still want to continue to attack some of that debt. You know, Mass, they paid off 28 million in debt in Q3
Yeah, I saw that.
at
Yep.
a 28, I think it was 28 or so million, but it was at a 28% discount, which is good, right?
Yeah.
You want to be
Yep.
paying off debt at a discount when you can get it.
Absolutely.
They only cost them 17 million. So they're going to continue to raise cash, continue to attack some of the higher interest debt or the debt that's going to be hitting them first. And that's why they're going to keep on raising cash. Are they going to raise enough cash to pay off 4 or 5 billion? No, they are not. That is not a likely outcome. They don't want to kill us, but they want to raise enough to have some cushion on the balance sheet. Look at this dashboard I have up here. All those red boxes on the top, the return on equity, debt to equity, current ratio, those are all balance sheet problems.
Yep.
And if I have it red, that's because Wall Street is looking at return on equity, debt to equity, and working capital, or the current ratio, and saying this is really, really bad.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be super negative. I'm trying to be super real. Why the company needs to raise cash. Everything they can do to raise cash fixes the working capital. We improved, Johnny, on this working capital. It was 0.4. Now it's 0.6. I want to see it 1.0 or better.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
That would be, guys, that would be here on the balance sheet. What are we looking at when we talk about current ratio? For any of you who are new here, or just doing a drive-by, this is the AMC's most recent balance sheet. Total current assets, including cash, $980 million. Total current liabilities, $1.5 billion. That means we are short 600 million, or, you know, just over 500 million in the ability to pay the next 12 months bills. That's like the simple way I want you to look at that. You don't want to see current liabilities due in the next 12 months more than your current assets. What cash you're going to have available to you in the next 12 months. We are upside down by $500 million. That is the only thing they are thinking about in that executive suite. How not to go bankrupt, how not to miss payments. This is not good. And that's why I keep on telling y'all in the Discord and occasionally on the live streams. And for the last year, I don't care who's telling you the financials are fine. He didn't need to raise money. Why did we do a reverse split? This right here, guys. This is it. Working capital. That's my viewpoint anyways. Johnny, shoot me full of holes now. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Look, you're not. And here's the thing. I think that a lot of the things that were said yesterday on that earnings call were very positive and bullish for the company long term, right? So
Long
forget
term.
about
Yes.
long term. I'm talking, again, this writers and actors strike really threw a monkey wrench into any plans that we had over the last 6 months as far as 2024 goes. Unfortunately for us, right? It's something completely out of our hands.
Yep.
And I saw people saying yesterday that, oh, don't think that it's there's no way that the strike ended as soon as AMC had their earnings call. And I'm like, we are really going crazy here. If we are thinking
the tinfoil experts were Johnny on the spot on that one, weren't they?
Unbelievable.
It was
I
all
saw people
planned.
actually saying that. Yeah. I saw people saying,
I know, I saw it.
They waited. I'm like, oh my God. But again, for the long term, I think, him saying that there's 5 or 6, other acts that they have thinking about for next year, as far as, signing deals to be able to distribute this straight to the theaters, like cutting out the middleman, all the things that are going on right now, the extra places now they're going to be able to, and excuse me because of my tooth, the extra places you're gonna be able to find the popcorn now. It's already on Amazon. It being across
It's
at
already
3
on
or
Amazon.
yeah, it was on. They put it up last night. Yeah, I saw it this
Holy
morning when I first woke
smokes!
up.
All right.
Yeah, yep. They had I think it was a 6-bag purchase for like $30 or something like that. 4 bags maybe. But again, that's in the short term, I can see why we had a little bit of that price action today, and plus you add this in with the dilution. So someone asked me last night, do I believe in some of the guys who are doing technical analysis on the stock? And I just said, no, I don't listen to them at all anymore, because nothing can, you can't look at this like a typical stock like you could have in the past. It definitely has, it's a beast of its own. And we need to start getting accustomed to that fact that there's too many things outside of our control to try and predict on dates and prices.
Those of us that are, trading stocks or buying options or selling options, I guarantee you, we are all looking at the technical analysis on a minute to minute, a 5-minute, a 1 hour basis. But over the long term, trying to go back and find some pattern from 2 years ago and paste it over what's going to happen next month, you're kidding yourself. And that's why almost all of them have been wrong, why most of them have gone away. I had a good friend, not a friend, but a regular follower of this channel who started his own YouTube channel and tried to do that with BBIG. And what happened to BBIG, Mass? Bankrupt.
Yep.
You got smoked. And he was arguing with me. My TA is great. We have a beautiful community. Okay, but I read your financial statements, and it's not going to end well. Yep. I made a video about it. And he got mad as a hornet's nest at me.
TA can't fix financials, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you can use it. You can use it in the short term to make short-term decisions, but in the long term, the fundamentals are going to weigh down on you.
Yep. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but again, I think that overall yesterday's call was very positive. I think that sent out a clear message to long-term investors, to big funds out there, that AMC is in it to win it. And I understand the dilution, because I just knowing and looking at this box office right now, it is abundantly clear that Taylor Swift and Beyonce is not going to be able to bring us a profitable quarter. There's just no way. So,
what's his name? Is it Shabeen Ali? He says, how is deferred revenue a liability? So when AMC sells the gift cards, or you pre-book a movie, say for 30 days from now, like all the people that, booked their Taylor Swift in Q3, even though Taylor Swift was in Q4, AMC receives the money for that. But accounting rules, Shabeen, hopefully I'm saying your name right, Shabin, accounting rules say that you can't book it as revenue until you actually deliver the service. So it gets moved over as a liability account, which just means that's something we owe to that patron. We either got to give them their money back, or we got to deliver the service. It's a liability account. It's just accounting. And when the service is delivered, then they unwind it. Then they move it into revenue, and they decrease the liability account.
By the way, did he talk anything about, because like I said, I didn't hear the whole call. I tailed off at the very end. Did he mention anything about Taylor Swift numbers? He didn't say anything about that, right? About the numbers for Taylor Swift?
He just said he's very happy with the results, and the phone's ringing off the hook from other artists. So that's beautiful for me for next year. And Taylor Swift, worldwide, I think it's around 200 million. I had forecast 400 million for the run of her tour on the AMC circuit, or the global movie circuit. And it's not meeting what I had forecast. And I thought I was being, too conservative.
Yeah.
But they have extended it, right? They added some dates. So maybe it'll run on up there. Maybe I'll be close to right. But still, I mean, if you have 200 million worldwide and you do that 7 times next year, how much extra revenue is that we never would have thought of a year ago?
$1.5 billion.
could be huge for AMC.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like right now we're at what, 166 gross T for Taylor Swift, and as of yesterday or as of today, and 643 globally.
Hang on, Mass.
Yep.
Entertain yourselves for 1 second. Go ahead and take a question. Take a question
Sure.
if you want.
Sure. See who's in here. I can take a question from Carl J. I could say hey to some people. Let me go back and just say hey to some shout outs here. Jeff, what's going on, man? Good evening tonight. Pocus, how you doing? TF Hatter, we got Carlo Guzman. What's going on, my man? Propagating Plant Parts, how you doing?
She wanted to show me she got her nails done. That's why we're getting the live stream interrupted.
Did you?
They look nice, Scar. Good afternoon, Kiwi girl. Let's see. Who else am I missing here? DJ Realize Open. How you doing tonight? RA, we got Jersey Recycler. Who am I missing? Shabin, what's going on? Moto Go 34. Jeremy Wald. Jeremy says, can we all agree the timing is suspect as F? I think he wanted to try to catch AMC before the dip that we actually saw this morning.
Not your bunnies.
I asked you to. You didn't?
No.
No?
No. All right, I'm back.
That's all right.
She was getting her nails done. She just got home and she wanted to show them to me and confess that she bought a pair of shoes.
Oh man, so she's spending left and right, huh?
She's like, I didn't want you to be mad. So just wanted to tell you now that I bought some shoes.
You're gonna need to find a runner tomorrow morning. Hang on 1 second. I gotta fix my mic arm. Hang on.
All right, where are we at in the chat here? Bigums, what's up, my friend? Are you going to be able to pop in tonight, or are you just going to chat with us? Either one's fine. He said he will give out Taylor numbers in Q4. Also, I'm very curious if he will give out popcorn numbers in Q4. Like, have you guys noticed? Have I missed it? We haven't got exact numbers on popcorn yet. And I think, honestly, people had these wild expectations for popcorn. I was never one of those people, but I think, as the footprint of the places they sell it increase, then the contribution of popcorn to the bottom line starts increasing, and maybe they will break it out to us as a separate line item, at least in a phone call or a footnote. And I'm hoping that maybe, for the annual report, they'll tell us something, because I'm very curious. I think the profit margin is 25%, but I think the overall contribution has been not meaningful enough to break it out by quarter yet.
No credit cards, right? Same can be said with that.
Yeah, for sure, not credit cards.
Yeah, did he give any hard numbers yesterday on retail popcorn sales?
No,
I didn't think so. But they must be doing good if they're expanding like they are. If they're being able to pitch it to Kroger and Publix and some of these other big, large chains and Amazon, I would assume sales are doing pretty well, right? Because I'm assuming those they got to move stuff out of the way to make room for AMC popcorn, right? So it's got to be something they think they can move off the shelves in order to bring it in.
MotoGP, he says, if money was really an issue, maybe they should all take a pay cut. Most of their pay, like the cash that they get paid, is relatively small, right? I think Adam gets $1 million. And a lot of people have been dropping in my comments and saying, well, what about, even in my Discord, what about the 22 million or whatever he made last year? Let's just talk about that for 1 second. And I'm not by any means defending them, right? I think it's an obscene amount of money for where we're all at as stockholders. No argument there. But if I just look at the proxy statement, the 50 pages that go through the pay, and there's tables that break down where his 22 million came from. That was not like some number they handed him for 2022. I hope y'all realize that when you see people just throwing out tweets, 22 million pay in 2022. Every year they get RSU and PSU, restricted stock units, and performance. I think it's performance stock units. They're bonuses based on the EBITDA or whatever the target was for the year. And those don't all vest that year. They vest over 5 years. So every year that goes by, he has stacked up awards from previous years. And now all of a sudden in 2022, you're getting 3 years of vested earnings, vested bonuses. And that is counted as your effective pay, whether you sold them or not, they vested. So there is kind of a breakdown. It's not like they just told them, we're going to give you 22 million, no matter what happens. It goes back several years. Now, I think we could maybe have a discussion where the target's too generous. Should they make the targets for their bonuses harder to achieve? Yeah, I think that's a great discussion. But at the end of the day, we want them incentivized to drive EBITDA and drive improvements on the financial statements that will drive the price up. And what I will say to you guys, what I say to my folks in my Discord, let's not minimize or ignore the next time they're selling, right, Mass?
Yeah.
When we see all of them selling, like in June 2021, I'm not going to ignore it again.
Yep. Or November 2022. Remember?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not going to ignore that again. No matter who tells me it's going to the moon.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ignore it.
Yep. I saw someone else today on Twitter. I don't remember if it was you, Bigham. They were giving someone online a hard time, saying, the influencers, back in Adam Aaron. And, I just keep thinking to myself, every time I read something like that, I'm like, man, Adam Aaron has a duty to this company. And as much as we want to believe that he wants to see a MOAS, which I'm sure he does. I mean, I don't see how that would be bad for AMC if it turned out to be, one of the biggest short squeezes of all time, and a ton of AMC rabid movie fans made oodles of money. I don't think he's necessarily ever going to be against that happening if things line up for it to come to fruition. But in the meantime, he's got a responsibility to fix the books on this company, and whatever it takes for him to get there, he is going to do, right? And I feel bad because I think some people don't grasp that thought, and they think that he scammed everyone when he went out to meet people and by going to the theaters and, doing the interviews with Trey back in the day. All those things were set up to scam investors. And it's like, I don't know anything that he said that was false, or, maybe it was misleading. Some of the wording.
But what did he say in those meetings? Remember when he was in those meetings, he said, I don't think there's synthetic shares. We're going to raise more money. We need to fix the balance sheet. I mean, we need more movies to come out. Yeah. I mean, he was very blunt with people to the point where some of the people that hate him use what he said in those meet and greets against him. I think he was very plain about what was going to happen. Does he need to keep investors engaged? Yeah, of course he does. Yeah. But nothing that he said in those meet and greets was not followed through by doing exactly what he said.
Yeah. Even when he was not knowing he was being recorded, some of those conversations that we heard from people who, did tape him under the radar without his knowledge, his story still didn't change. When it was a one-on-one private conversation at 1 a.m. at an airport, he still stuck with his guns on what he's been saying to everyone else. So,
and I get it. Some people don't like that he said that, or some people don't, the same people that don't like that I don't report on anything other than Ortex. I only report on the known shorts. Always have. I get it. You don't like that, but that is how they're managing the company. So if you don't like it, then, make up your own mind. But he's never wavered on that.
No.
Is the company being shorted? Absolutely. Has the short interest been high at times? Absolutely. Anything over 20% to me is high. And on top of that, the carried short interest, we got people attacking it for day trading every fucking day.
Right.
But I mean, you don't need to see 100% short interest to know that the shorts are attacking it every day. You can watch the price, but those shorts are hopping in and out. They're not trying to, if they make 10% in a day, 5% in a day, what's 5% in a day times 280, 300 days? Yep. That's a fucking killing for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not trying to play it like you are to get 5,000%. 5% a day for them is a gold mine compared to trading the SPY, getting 15% annually. Just saying.
Devindo Varsha says my Mass's video feed still sucks. Am I coming in like skipping or something? I'm not coming in clear? The mic?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
But getting back to the pay, if they are incentivized with shares in the long run, I think that, the price, they are incentivized to do things to drive the price up. In the short term, as we've talked about, there's going to be some pain because they're trying to fix the balance sheet. They're trying not to go bankrupt. Once that is fixed, then they got their shares for free, right? So they can skate. It's not as painful for them. I get it. It's up to each individual investor to decide when to buy, when to sell. So yeah, the people that walk in Johnny off the street, sorry, Johnny, I keep on using your name.
All right.
But people that just walk in off the street and buy today are going to be in a much better position than any of us that bought in 2021. I get that. But I think, over time, the price will go up. I don't know if it'll go back up to where it was.
We had decent movies this quarter, right? We had some pretty good movies. Would you say this quarter that came out?
Yeah, Marvel's starting tomorrow.
And with that, the Marvels, yeah. With that, we broke all kinds of Q3 records, right? Revenue and adjusted EBITDA was the best they've ever had in their 103-year history. So what he was saying rings true to me when he said we need more good movies, we need more of them and good ones. And that was proven because I think me and you both lowballed what we thought our estimates for Q3 earnings were going to be, and they blew the socks off our speculation. So what he's saying is ringing true to me. If we have good product and we can put asses in seats, look at how we can do as far as revenue and, how much we're making per person. What is that, like 30% year over year on concessions? That's the game right now that we're playing.
And when those numbers really start changing, and when the EBITDA is smashing records every quarter, and the company starts racking up some profits, and they get a little more cash on the balance sheet, I think you'll see some more institutions buying the stock. Now you look at something like Cinemark, which has a much better balance sheet and much better overall financial health. It's mostly owned by institutions because they're not scared. They're not as scared to own Cinemark. It doesn't have that high bankruptcy risk like AMC does. But we got in this play because we knew it was speculative. Speculative trades drive volatility where you can get really good price spikes up, right? But the downside is if you're wrong or your timing's wrong, you get the volatility to the downside. Or like we've seen on many, many, many stocks, they go bankrupt or they dilute the fuck out of shareholders like Mullen.
You know what keeps me positive sometimes when things are looking bleak, and today's a perfect example of it. So go to look at Cinemark. The first thing, if you just Google in Cinemark, featured movies, Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, is ahead of the Marvels or Five Nights at Freddy's or anything. And AMC is getting a piece of every one of those showings, correct? Right?
For Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And it's the same. It's same as for all their concerts, right? Any that are being
As long as
exclusively.
AMC is the distributor, yeah, they'll get a piece of it. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, this
Worldwide.
is,
Worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Good.
I'm just thinking out. Like, I don't know how Q4 is going to be, but I'm thinking, if unless shit hits the fan, 2024 is likely to be better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm trying to, use smart opportunities to watch the chart, try and find the bottom. I was buying at $7 or $8 and hope that he doesn't kill us with dilution.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a sec. I'm just looking over the PDF right now. $350 million, not 350 million.
That'll be like
right?
40 million shares.
Right. I saw a lot of people saying that today about the price, and it's a money number. 350 million.
Yeah.
What was it? $10 a share?
Well, I mean, it's at the market, right? I saw someone ask, is it going to be at the, sold to the public or sold to be honest, I didn't read the whole prospectus, but typically when they do the at the market, there's paragraphs in there that say they reserve the right to sell it at the market or to sell it in a deal to somebody in a package. Depending on what the price is, if it's low enough, someone may take down 10 million shares, they might cut a deal. But if the price isn't low enough or he doesn't want to cut a deal, they might just say, hey, we're going to let this ride for the next 90 days and see what the price does. And we'll sell it into upward momentum. So every time it starts punching over $9 or $10, he drops a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do or how motivated they are or what they're looking at, how bad they think Q4 is going to be or what cash concerns they have or think they need to spend money on. There's so many factors to decide, but we know that last time it was over pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
In September, it was over in weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it could be anything. There's multiple scenarios. They have a lot of options. Really, you got to get to what is their motivation. They're not cash poor right now.
Right.
But they do have, I think, a cash need. And
they might have something in the works that we don't even know about, right?
Right.
There might be a reason that they need to come up with a quick $250,000 and they still want to be able to have cash on hand. And this is going to allow them to do something. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I got to go with the plan right now. Whatever the CEO is planning on doing, I'm riding with that right now. It's because what else can I possibly do at this point? I'm already down a huge percentage in my original purchase. So it's, for now it's ride or die, or again, if you don't trust in the CEO, definitely don't hold on to the stock anymore. Right.
Davinda Vasher is in the house. What is up, friend? I feel like you and Karen, but not that Karen. I haven't seen y'all around lately. Hopefully you're living a life of wedded bliss. I know he's laughing right now, and he probably has a drink.
Salut. I wish I had a drink.
Lucky Trader says AA will invest that money from the dilution to make more money for AMC. I saw a comment from May in a thread that I was on today, Markets with May, and she alluded to something along that. I was not on Twitter a whole lot earlier today, but I was trying to keep up, and she said raising money is all about raising capital to put that capital to use and hopefully make a higher return on that capital.
That's what we're all trying to do.
I think you're on point there, Lucky Trader. 65.
Yeah, what are we doing with our capital, right? We're trying to use that in the market to make more money.
Or to fix the balance sheet.
Yeah, I did see we did pay off some debt, right? They did talk about
They
that.
paid off. Yeah, they paid off like 28 million or so, 24 million for a 28% discount. So
Yeah.
they went to the lender and said, "Will you take 17 million and
They
knock
said,
off
sure.
24?" That's
Yep.
$6 million in the bag just for asking nicely.
I saw someone today ask you, T, about the Saudi Arabia deal. They made like $15 million off of that 2 week of lending their name, right?
I keep on seeing these tweets by certain people, and people keep on asking me, is this true? Did Adam Aaron lose $1 billion in Saudi Arabia? And I keep on meaning to address that. So finally today I did on Twitter, and I put it in my Discord too. There was a partnership back in 2018, I think it was, with the Saudi Arabian PIF, the big fund that is trying to drive more revenue streams in their country. And they were the 90% partner. AMC was a 10% partner. And their plan was over the next decade to build 100 theaters in Saudi Arabia with the AMC brand name on them. And then COVID hit, right? So that plan slowed down. They built 13 theaters. And AMC in late 2022, for whatever reason, decided we're going to get out of this deal and just license our name so we can keep on getting some money, but we don't want to be owners even of 10% of this. And what had happened, so Your Honor, what had happened was he did a video interview with Bloomberg or somebody where they were saying, "Where do you see this going, Adam?" And he said, "Well, the first 50 theaters at $20 million a theater will be a eventual investment of $1 billion between the joint partnership." And what did they title that video when they put the news article out? Wouldn't you know it? They got it wrong. AMC invests $1 billion in Saudi Arabia. And the problem we have, Massalorian, is people that are not very good at due diligence just read a headline and yep, that confirms what I thought. They spent $1 billion because I saw the headline. Never mind, actually looking at the 10Q when we sold our 10% to Saudi Arabia, where we booked a $15.5 million profit on a $30 million sale. So our investment was $14.5 million in 13 theaters. And we profited, almost doubled our money on that deal. We never spent $1 billion, and that's just silly. Who's going to spend $1 billion on 13 movie theaters when you're the 10% owner?
Unless they're made out of gold.
So I hate to waddle back into trying to fact check anybody because they're also Looney Tunes, but I'm tired of seeing misinformation being put out there and getting asked about it constantly. So forgive me for indulging with a little bit of FUD busting today.
Just so you know, T, there's still some back and forth going with you know who Dane Cook is, the comedian?
Yep.
So he just posted less than an hour ago. He threw up Q3's financials and put a couple fire emojis. Now he made an announcement earlier today saying there was big news coming very soon. I don't know what I don't know if it has to do with a concert tour, but he did just post that a little while ago. Saying
if I had to put money on it, that's a lock. If he's got it ready to go, which he's insinuated that he has, and I saw another tweet from him in the last 24 hours where he said, I can't really say anything, but I am in talks with AMC.
Yeah. If he's reposting their financials, I would say that might be a deal that's already been struck. Yeah.
Get ready for all the Dane Cook haters to come out now. As soon as Taylor Swift started with AMC, all the Taylor Swift is a man people. Do you know all the people that hate Adam Aaron also are tweeting out that Taylor Swift is a man?
No, are they really?
Yes, absolutely. I have the receipts. And get ready for all the Dane Cook nonsense too.
That means Travis Kelce's gay. If you believe that, you got to believe both.
Apparently, there's a swimsuit picture of her where she has a little mound. I'm guessing some of these people might have never seen a woman.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know it's 2023, but there's a lot of women who could have a little mound there.
These people will
No doubt
literally
about
stop at nothing
Yeah.
to throw
I know.
hate on something they don't like.
Yeah, but look, that is dollar signs, and you know, I was a big Dane Cook fan. He kind of came up in the Boston scene with his comedy. He's from the North Shore originally, so I remember seeing him and Bill Burr back in the day when before they really blew up at some of the small comedy places. And you know, he sold out multiple shows on his last tour. You know, he sold out big places too. I'm not talking about, you know, like little comedy shops. He sold out, you know, the Madison Square, in Chicago where the Bulls play. So he's got an audience, and
He came here to Austin recently, and I looked at the ticket prices, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just wait till you're at AMC, buddy.
really, yeah, were they a little pricey? Were they?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
For
I
me,
heard
I
his new
mean,
act is pretty awesome.
for me, you know, I'll pay a premium price to go see George Strait or Reba,
Mhm.
but you know, and I'd pay $20 to go see Dane Cook at AMC.
Right. I see people saying that they're gonna wait for Marvels to come out on streaming. Unfortunately, that ain't good. They already leaked some of the end credits, and apparently there's supposed to be like a little musical halfway through the movie, like a 10-minute music scene that like totally doesn't fit into the plot or anything, the story at all. Like, I just heard this is a complete mess,
On which movie?
which is unfortunate, man. On the Marvels.
Oh,
You know, the first one did over $1 billion, and I know it was sandwiched in between two of the biggest films of all time, but
it
you know, with
actually
Marvel,
was. It was
spend all that
showing
money.
today in Austin, and I picked After Death over the Marvels.
Yeah, that tells you everything you need to know right there, right, T? Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I
wonder
might
what
go
the
see
theaters
it
around here.
just because Q4 is going to need every little extra bit.
Every penny.
But I tell you what, you know, if all of y'all go see movies in the next 6 weeks and I don't need to go see the Marvels, I'm good with that. So if you could help me out and not have to go watch that movie, I'd appreciate it. But if you don't do your part, I'm going to throw in an extra trip and grin and bear it, Mass.
By the way, the big release for next year is Deadpool, for that, you know, anticipated for Marvel. So now it's Deadpool 3. They moved it from May 3rd to July 26th. That just came up a little while ago. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's July 26th.
I see Karen is in the chat now. What's up, lady? She says she's been
How you doing,
working her
Karen?
butt off. All right. Should we take some more? Anybody want to complain about Adam Aaron raising money? This is kind of like your opportunity to vent, because I know people are mad, and I understand it completely. Like, nobody wants dilution, but I have been trying to tell y'all this was going to come for a long time. Long time we've been talking about it. I think $1 billion. I don't know the timeline, but I think $1 billion.
By the way, while you're looking for a question, CNBC just dropped an article saying, talking about Marvel's predictions, that the initial opening they thought would be 75 to 80 domestically, but the latest numbers look like a range of 60 to 65 million, which would come in lower than Incredible Hulk from 2008, which is the worst showing Marvel as a studio.
While we're speaking of woke, have you seen the Disney price lately?
Actually, I haven't looked at it in the last couple of days. Let me see. Hold on. Is it bouncing?
I got a lot.
Wow.
I got a lot of hate for daring to make a Disney video.
Wow. What is up with that? What's that due to?
I'll
They just had
I
earnings.
will
Weren't they
cover.
terrible?
I will cover a Disney update this weekend for you guys. But
Wow. I'm shocked.
I know
Shocked.
everybody's shocked. Everybody
all
who
the-
told me, Tony,
all the-
you're stupid for making a video at $80. It's going to 30.
90.34 today. Closed
I'll
that
tell you
up
what else I did
6%.
today. I sold my Tesla for a slight profit in the morning. I saw it continued to tank all day and decided to lock in my gains. It closed at 209. It got as low as, what did it get as low as today? 206. So I sold in the morning before that big red candle. And I said, or in the midst of that big red candle, I was like, I'm just going to lock in a little bit. And if it drops to 190 or 150, whatever, if it sits right here, I'll just buy back. But I'm only mentioning Tesla because I had some and I sold it. I had some at 138 and I sold it on the run up. And I've been waiting to get back in. And I was kind of testing the waters around 207, 213. And I was nervous about doing that because I'm more bearish on the price level that it's at. And so I hop back out, but I'm ready to hop back in if it starts moving again. But if it comes down, I'll be a bigger buyer. And everybody's giving me shit for making videos about EV companies. Oh, you're pumping Rivian, you're pumping Lucid. Guys, if you come in my comments and say I'm pumping an EV company, I know automatically you didn't watch the video.
Right.
Because first of all, I'm pretty sure I said very clearly, and most of them I don't own them, that the risk is very high. And I go over in detail the dashboards, which are full of red. And I hope you're paying attention. But I think that, if we're looking at Tesla, I'm looking at Tesla. I'm going to be providing a lot of ongoing coverage about Tesla. But as soon as I do, everybody's going to flood me. What do you think about Lucid? What do you think about Rivian? What do you think about Fisker? So I'm trying to get as much expertise and up to speed on all of these as I can before we move into talking about Tesla. And so please don't ever take any stock that I cover as me pumping it or even owning it. I have an interest in it. I have people asking me about it, my viewers, and I'm trying to provide you some unbiased information. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know till I make the video, till I do the research. Man, these fucking trolls, Mass. You made a video about or Rivian, you're pumping it.
Pretty bad.
You made a video about Mullen,
bad.
you're pumping it. No. I've said for 2 years, don't buy any of these companies. If you ever listened once to my channel.
Speaking of which, T, I talked a little bit last night in the live stream about Thomas Massey, the congressman from Kentucky. He sent a bill to the floor from HR 4820, which is the Infrastructure Act, climate change and infrastructure bill, to try to get an amendment for the interlock devices on the cars, and it failed. It didn't pass the amendment. And I was talking about last night during the live stream because they posted their earnings yesterday, and the stock came down 30%, down to 50 cents a share today.
Holy shit.
So that is like, yeah. Almost at all-time low.
Speaking of stocks coming down and EV companies, going back to that for 1 second, the benefit of getting to know these companies like I did and talk to the employees and drive the cars and spend literally days going through years of 10Qs and press releases, I had a pretty good feeling that Rivian was going to beat and Lucid was going to miss. And that's exactly what happened. And so I bought a couple calls on Rivian and I bought a shit ton of puts on Lucid. And unfortunately, they have not moved. Lucid went up in pre-market and then tanked as soon as the market opened the next day. And that's not great when you own calls. If all the movement happens in after hours or pre-market. but I stand to make a pretty decent amount on the Lucid puts. So we'll know tomorrow. Hopefully it doesn't run up tomorrow and just ruin my story.
By the way, speaking of EVs, was there some news today that the reason why Tesla fell the way it did, why we dropped 6% on Tesla today?
I didn't spend a lot of time, but I scanned through the headlines, and I think somebody came out with $150 price target, which is cool by me. I think it's overpriced. Just I won't call myself a Tesla expert yet. You're going to need to give me a couple weeks. I'm trying to make my way through all the other ones. NIO, I'm doing next. And I'm going to do a charge point update. And then I'm going to spend however many days it takes to get all caught up to be the best Tesla expert I can be.
Are you still holding charge point too?
No, I sold that a long time ago. I held it into a loss and for several quarters. And then I got to a point where I looked at my portfolio and like, why? Okay, let me look at anything that is in the red. And I had a few. I had Plug and Power. I had ChargePoint. And I said, let me look at the financials. It's been several quarters. They keep going down. And I didn't have, I wasn't following my 10% stop loss rule. I looked at the financials and I'm like, there's nothing in here that says I should hold these. So I sold anything that was in the red, like those Biden plays. I sold them all.
That's a good move.
I took my licks and take what cash I can and allocate it towards something where I can make money.
That's the way to do it. Yep. Yep.
If I had seen anything in the financials that said double down, buy the dip, I would have, but I didn't see it in any of those.
But you're going to do a video on it very soon?
That was a 5-minute look that convinced me to sell. I'm going to do a deep dive in a video on ChargePoint and let you know what I really think. But my gut reaction when I sold it was there's no reason at this time to keep holding this. And I think it's only gone down more since then.
You think now is a good time to dump some Palantir before it maybe drops a little more?
Dude, man, I'm like biting at the bit. Let me pull up my Palantir chart.
Came down today.
I want to own some Palantir. What happened? The chart's not working. Let me stop the screen share and try again. I want to own me some Palantir so bad.
I'm just thinking now might be a good time to exit.
Let me. I got my Fibonacci on here. So every time it came down and tested this 50%, boom, boom, and almost here, I was like, I'm just going to wait and see if it goes down to the 61%, and then I'll buy there. So I opted not to buy here. Regret, because I would have sold, and I opted not to buy here. Super regret, super duper regret. Yeah. But yeah, I would be selling here, Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of dumping it tomorrow morning, honestly.
And I'd love to buy it at 12, 10, or 7.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a nice point to get in. Price point to get in. Yeah.
I said to myself also, I need to do a Palantir update video. They just had earnings on 11/2, so that's on my weekend list also. I need to convince myself to just bite the bullet and buy it, even if it doesn't drop to 1386, or convince myself to wait for a full retracement or a 75% retracement. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I can only tell you how I've been thinking for the last 3 months, and I neglected to pull the trigger 3 times on buying.
I'm just thinking, even if it came down another 20%, and back down to range, I could always jump back in, right? But I have a feeling that it's coming on its way down a little bit, just because all the hype is over for a little bit. The earnings just came out; they crushed it. I don't see it making another big jump unless they make, unless there's some headline big deal that they sign. I don't see any reason why it's going to stay up just because of the overall feeling of the market right now, right?
Yep.
With tech.
I checked my account, I think yesterday or maybe today. I'm about 49% in cash, just waiting for that market crash or a good opportunity on something. And maybe, if AMC dumps to $8, maybe I'll load up on some more. What's up, Blue Sky? Anya said 136 price target on Tesla. HSBC made a 146 price target on Tesla. Yeah, and I don't hate Tesla, but I don't think that is unreasonable either, those price targets. Because I saw someone posted a chart of the market cap of Tesla is bigger than like all of the other major automakers combined.
Is it
and
really?
I get it. Yeah, I get it. Tesla is booking profits and EVs are the future, and it's going to be hard for any EV company to catch them. And even the major manufacturers are scaling back on the EVs. It's hard to catch a front runner like Tesla. So I'm not bearish on Tesla. I just think that it's slightly overpriced. I was chomping at the bit and snapped some up at 138. And that was the second time that I've owned Tesla. But I keep on selling into the run-ups and waiting for it to come back down, and it hadn't failed me yet.
Speaking of EVs, electric vehicles, just so you know, Palantir has a D+ for ESG rating. Maybe that'll be its doom this time around to bring it down.
What do they even? Why? How do you even rate a company like that on ESG?
No idea.
Do they need to buy some carbon credits or something?
No clue. So ridiculous. No clue.
I don't know. We started at 8:30, babe. What time are you going to be live streaming till? Yeah, maybe like 30 more minutes.
30 more minutes?
All right, you wanting to spend some quality time? You're going to be right back. All right. Anya says Amazon should buy Rivian. Yeah, Amazon has an investment in Rivian, if I recall. What do I see the SPY doing next week? I haven't even looked at the SPY this week, Michael. There was a week or two ago I was trading the SPY, and then it got a little too crazy for me to try and trade it. I like to at least have an idea what it's going to do. So to be perfectly honest, I hadn't looked at it in the last week. And I mostly think that people that are trading the indexes right now, knowing what we know about the economy, it's just a little bit of legalized gambling, which I have no problem with. I knew good and well when I was trading it a week ago that I was gambling. But yeah, I mean, look at that daily chart. Looks like it wants to come back down a little bit. Davinda Vasher says Bed Bath & Beyond should buy AMC. Maybe that is the plan, right, Davinda? They say, the butterflies say that Bed Bath & Beyond is going to resurrect with a secret new company. Teddy Holdings announces that it is buying AMC. I don't know, Davinda. Tedward, what's up? Just joined and super stressed. I'm sorry to hear that from him. He says, I messed up big, invested too much in AMC. Any chance we get back to 22? $22 like right now or $220? What are we talking about, Tedward? Michael, I have no problem gambling on the SPY, but it's got to be a week where I really have time to sit here watching it.
SPY.
Yeah, the SPY or the Qs. And I've been, as you guys know, I've been spending a lot of time just researching these EV companies, and that takes a lot of time. And I haven't had I've been trading, but not trying to day trade a bunch of shit because I can't pay attention. I can't do both good. Tedward says current 22. So I'll tell you what I told my folks in the Discord today, Tedward, when we're talking about prices and where it could go. Get out your pencils and paper. The PE ratio average in this industry, the theater industry, is, let's say, around 20 to 25. And that is price to earnings, right? So we're going to do some backwards math. It requires a positive earnings to have a PE ratio. That's why if you go look at AMC right now, you should see NA or a dash. No, there's no PE ratio because we don't have positive earnings. But let's just say if we needed a price of $22, what would the annual earnings need to be? They'd need to be $1, $1, 25 cents per quarter. If I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So then you got to ask yourself, when are we going to get to 25 cents per quarter?
A little bit from now. It's going to be a while. Did someone mention dividends? Is that how this got started?
No, he said, when are we going to get back to 22? So that was kind of the explanation I gave people, like in a logical financial way of looking at it. But as we know, we've watched many stocks over the last couple of years run up in price based on news or FOMO that have no relation to normal financial analysis. So could it get to 22 based on some good news, some hype, some FOMO? Absolutely. Even if the company's doing poorly still. But I can't explain to you a way without some catalyst that happens. So we either wait for a catalyst or we talk about, under normal analysis, how does it get there? There's no short interest right now. It's less than 7%. So I can't talk about a short squeeze. But even Finger ran up on FOMO with 3% short interest. So literally anything is possible in any stock when you get the right amount of momentum behind it.
Did you see Adam Aron's tweet today about Renaissance, the tour tee?
Yeah, I retweeted it, and I'm excited to go see that one. I have not seen Taylor, but I will go see Beyonce.
By the way, was it you, going back to EVs for 1 sec, was it you the other day that reposted the video of people waiting to charge their cars?
Yeah.
What was up with that? That
California.
was in California, right?
Yeah, those were not Tesla cars. That was the non-Tesla charging standard, similar to what ChargePoint does, right? And that network of charging stations, from what I understand, I'm trying to get up to speed on all this because I don't own an EV, but the non-Tesla chargers and that whole charging standard tend to be wonky and slow or broken. And so people were lined up 20 deep at the mall. I think it was at a mall waiting to charge in the evening. I'm like, first of all, couldn't you drive somewhere else? I mean, and second of all, if you can't, why? I don't understand, because I would plug my car in every night. Like, how are you leaving home without enough charge to make it to the shopping mall and back home? And then someone said, well, maybe they're traveling. Maybe they're traveling. And okay, maybe they are, but the mall, is
And
where you stop
everyone?
to charge.
And
I'm pretty
everyone
sure
at the
there's a
mall?
lot of charging options in California,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna just rack that up to maybe just those charging stations are really, really slow. I don't know.
Yeah, Tesla's supposed to be on the high end as far as the speed, right? They're fast charging. Tesla and Tesla.
Tesla's charging stations are typically, from what I understand, more reliable and faster charging.
Okay.
And it's not that the other folks aren't aware of their issues. They are aware of it and they're working to fix it. But there's some systemic problem. And one day I'll do a video on it, but there's already videos on it by people that are far more knowledgeable than I am. I'd be a small minnow in that pond swimming with sharks before, if I even attempted to talk about that knowledgeably right now. And you know me, I don't like to talk about stuff I don't really know. Just telling you the limited amount that I know. That's why I posted the video. I was like trying to not get people angry, but ask, like, is this real life if you live in those cities? Because that might drive my decision if I bought an EV, what kind of car I buy. I don't want to buy a car where I'm waiting for a network of wonky chargers. And it's also why more and more of these manufacturers are saying by 2025, we're going to enable our vehicles to charge on a Tesla station. I think Lucid just came out with that announcement this week. And I asked the Rivian people, they were like, something we're thinking about. We'll let you know.
I just happened to take a peek at ChargePoint's chart. My God. Holy jeez. And they just had a share offering recently? How long ago was that?
I don't know.
Man, that was a
I'll let you
$40
know this
stock
weekend.
2 years ago.
I got a Neo update, a ChargePoint update, and a Palantir update. And I still need to do my quarterly review on Lucid. Man, I got a full next 4 days. I tell you what. You better pump them stocks, Denaro. I don't think many of them are going to be positive. For all of you who think I'm pumping. Jersey Recycler says electric cars are a waste of money and not effective. Yeah, my wife is going to need a new car. I'm kind of talking to her about maybe buying a Tesla 3. And I'm going to need a new car at some point very soon. And I'm not thinking about it EV because I like the sound of a big diesel truck. But I will consider it when I get to that point.
So you're planning on getting a car very soon, and you're not looking at an EV right now?
She needs a new car because her car just had an engine replacement under warranty, and her warranty is going to run out in about 20,000 miles, and I'm not very happy. And I'm telling her, we're going to drive that thing up to where your warranty runs out, just shy of that, and we're going to dump it. So 12 months or so.
Okay. And you're not gonna well, you're looking into EVs right now for the channel, but are you looking at EVs for a personal buy as well, possibly, or is that?
Maybe for her. Yeah, maybe for her. It'd be cool to have one in the family just to get some personal experience with it, especially if I'm talking about them on the channel, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Davinda says EVs are for bitches. He's just trying to be incendiary tonight.
Trying to get people fired up.
Hybrid is the way. Who was it? Was it Toyota? Did Toyota say if they do anything, they're going to do a hybrid? Am I incorrect in recalling that? Julie says, never give up. AMC Camoas. What did Liverpool say? My friend lost his house, kids, and life after losing everything with AMC. So anyone seeing this, you're lucky. Wait, your friend lost his life, like he self-deleted because of a stock?
Yeah,
That is horrible if that's the case. I mean, I see
hope
people
not.
talking about that occasionally on Twitter, but I haven't seen any details of anybody. I never know if that's rumors or if that is reality.
Yeah, I haven't heard
Someone
anyone.
that I was just talking to when I was at my lunch with my coworkers from 20, 30 years ago, one of them still works there, Mass. Yeah, this was 30 years ago that I used to work with these kids. We were all just like coming into drinking age. And I went around the table. I said, "Where do you work? Where do you work? Where do you work?" Because I only see these people every once a year, maybe if I'm lucky. We get together for lunch, maybe once every 2 years. And one of them, the is still working at that company. I said, "How long have you been there now?" 32 years.
Wow.
I was there 15 years.
Wow.
And people say I can't commit to anything. I worked for one company for 15 years. He's still there. We sat,
Wow.
desk by, he was at the desk right beside me for a year or two. And he was talking about someone that just killed themselves because of a layoff.
Jeez.
And
Yeah.
it's
That's
no
rough.
matter the circumstances, whether it's job, money, divorce, I lost a lot of friends over the last 4 or 5 years that I knew, through our extended social network through dancing, country western group that committed suicide. And it's always horrible to hear, no matter what the circumstances. And one of them was, he was like the life of the party. He was like the life of the party. And he did that because of a relationship issue with a girl he wasn't even married to. They were just arguing.
Man. That's rough. Do you remember the story I have up in the lobby right now? Do you remember this?
Let me pull it up. I do remember that.
Remember the 20-year-old? Yeah.
Yeah, he got a margin
2021,
call that got
Robinhood.
fixed the next day, right? But he had already killed himself.
Yes. He already killed himself. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy, right? Yeah, it said he was down $730K. Horrible, man. Yeah, 20 years old, gone. Yeah. That set me on my revenge path with Robinhood. Those days, right? Crazy.
All of those stories remind me, of why I started my channel back in July of 2021, because I was so mad at Trey and Matt for pushing buying calls at $70 and all the stupid shit they were doing.
Oof. Man.
Like, I was literally yelling at my screen, like, what are you telling people to do? I mean, you just ran from $5 to $70 and you're sitting here, oh, I'm buying another 100 calls.
100 calls. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was crazy. It was the price targets for me. That's what got me in. It was the price targets that originally I said,
the crazy price targets that people were putting out made you mad enough to turn on the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, talking about that we're going to
have.
Oh
yeah, I remember seeing that Pareto chart from Review Dork.
Yeah, yes.
Look, here's a spreadsheet, and theoretically, it could do this. I'm like, that makes 0 sense. Let's just have a short squeeze and be happy. Let's make some money and be happy.
Yeah, no.
But, that's all. We're not in 2021 anymore, Dorothy. Everything changed after Thanksgiving 2021. We had to come to grips with the new reality of the new stock market, the rising interest rates. And here we are still talking about it in 2023. But we have learned and we have grown. Some of us have. We have hashtag evolved. And I'm going to, despite all the hate I get for talking financial statements and not towing the line and telling you it's going to $1 million, I'm still going to be here. Just not going to talk about it as much because I don't like the Looney Tunes lying and sending me death threats. So we talk about it every day in Discord. I will only talk about it on YouTube when there's something we're talking about, like today.
Yeah. That was the only reason why I went on last night with the thumbnail I did, because I'm like, people have come on recently and said, you're not talking about AMC anymore. I'm just like, what do you guys, what do you want me to say? You want to go over the chart? Unless there's something that's newsworthy, I'm not going to come on and get people pumped up or have them thinking something crazy down the road, and then they start to buy call options based off that or puts or whatever it is, right?
Yep.
I've seen too many bad stories. I don't want to be known as the person that has to come on and say, what I'm telling you tonight is not financial advice, right? I've never done that. I'm not about to start now. Yeah, too many people. So,
and not just an AMC.
Something to add to the conversation. What's going on in the world. Yeah,
too many people got burned. Not just an AMC. Like, look at the MMTLP people, the Prague people, the Bed Bath and Beyond people. I mean, the list, BBIG. The list is literally endless.
Anya says, does anyone want to talk about dilution? It's the title in the live stream. Yeah, does anyone have a question about the dilution?
The main question I saw was why now? Should we hit on that one more time?
Yeah.
I already talked about it. Let's let you give a shot of what you think.
I mean, I think that I'm going to assume that they see Q4 being an issue at the six week mark in a few days, right? 5 days away, and seeing that our balance sheet's going to be not looking so hot after Q4, and we've been on a good run. And I think he wants to shore up and make sure that we have a proper showing for the end of the year. I mean, having a lot of cash on hand is never a bad thing, right? I just think he wants to be better safe than sorry. I think that the strike coming to an end was a great thing. But again, we haven't seen the effects of that really, the writers and the actors strike. We haven't seen it at all, except for the postponements that we know are coming, right? So I just think that he's the CEO of the company. I think he knows what he's doing. And so far, I've been pleasantly surprised at how he's handled 2023 for the most part. And I'm not going to question too much unless it really looks suspicious.
Do you think he's trying to stop the squeeze?
No.
If anybody asked me that question, if you asked me that question, I would say right now, what squeeze? We're at 7% short interest.
And there's no SI. Right. Exactly. Right. Those two things. Right. Yeah. I there were people actually talking about $1,400 price targets for tomorrow. You know that, right?
No. Who?
Yeah. It begins with A and ends with S. And he does TA every day.
Everything is perfect.
Everything's
Is it the everything is perfect thumbnambling guy?
Yes, that guy. Yeah.
He's been perfectly incorrect for 11 months now.
Yeah, I know. That's why you gotta stay away from that nonsense. You can never especially in this market, right? Because you can't account for things like this if you're telling people dates.
Not just the market, but I mean, when the company's communicating to you that they're going to fix the balance sheet and you're ignoring that they're going to dilute, your TA is probably not going to work out, bruh. Just saying.
Yeah. Post reverse split like we just had, and they're looking to raise capital, and they have X amount of shares out there that they can sell into the market. You can't account for that.
I do like that. I do like that little tinfoil theory I have though about the company does want to see some run up. They want to see some run up, ideally, so they could sell into it. And maybe, just maybe,
of course.
remember that theory? We see that a lot, right? You get a prospectus and then you get a run up, or sometimes you get the run up and then you get the dilution notice. But I'm sure the company would love to see the price run up. But I think in light of where we're at with Q4, they kind of like, if Q4 sucks, the price is only going to get walked down for the next 2 months. Let's just go ahead and pull the trigger now while we're at $10 instead of waiting. Instead of waiting when we're at 7, when everybody knows Q4 sucks. I don't know it's going to suck. I'm just saying, if we go worst case scenario, because I look at them all. If we go worst case scenario, and they're looking at burning $100 million cash in Q4 because the domestic box office was only $1.8 billion. And Wall Street, the media is like, nah, the Q4 is going to suck. All the YouTube channels that hate AMC sucks. Look at this Q4 box office. You know how they do, Mass.
Yep.
If YouTubers are going to be squawking about it, imagine what the media is going to be doing. And what's going to happen to the price? It's going to go down just like GameStop.
Yep. Someone said Mr. 1400 has a new price target of $7 within 2 hours. I mean, that's how change. Paying attention. But
if
I think better safe than sorry.
Can I tell you, for those who stuck around this long before we close out, can I tell you what I did today?
Yeah. What'd you do?
So I told you I overslept at the market open when it dropped to $8, and I was kind of pissed. I was kind of pissed because I have some cash sitting there, and I was dying to buy back in at $8. Because I don't know if I told you, Mass. I told them on the live stream. Everybody in my Discord knows. You know how I had been buying it at $7 to $8 over the last month or so, right? And for the last
since RS, since the RS,
I bought back in $7-8, and I sold covered calls on that, made more money. I sold cash secured puts and made more money, which would enable me to buy if it dropped to $7 or $8. But it didn't. It didn't ever get that low. By the time I sold those puts, it never went back down to where my strike price was. So that's more money I get to keep. So that all played out good. But as it was coming up for the past couple of weeks, I started selling around 1040. And my last sell, I got completely out on Monday at 1120.
Nice.
$11.20. And we've been talking about that in our little group for weeks. Like, Q4 is not looking great. Actor strike, risk of dilution, sell into the strength, wait for a pullback, and then buy back in. And you've made all this money in 30 days, and you're sitting on cash, wait for the pullback and buy back in. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to buy back in at $8, and I fucking slept through the news this morning. And by the time I woke up, it was already back over $9. So it went to $9.25, started coming back down to $8. I went in and I sold cash secured puts again with the $8 strike. And for those of you who are going to say you're contributing to the down pressure, no. If people are going to buy puts either from a market maker or from me, right? If I don't sell them, the market maker will sell them. You're not contributing to anything. But what did that gain me? Gained me $80 a contract today in my account. If you sold 10 contracts, that's immediate $800 deposit in your account. You got to have the cash, though, to buy the shares. It's a cash secured put.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to buy the shares at $8. I just told you that. So if it drops to $8, I sold them for $83 a contract. If it drops to $8, I will buy 100 shares for every contract I sold. $800 I need to have in my account for every contract I sold. And that cash has to sit there until the contract expires, which is middle of December. And that's fine because I want to buy at 8. I'd buy at 7, even better. But I'm okay buying at 8. If I get exercise, if it drops to $8 and they say, hey, you got to buy these, cool. But what's my effective price now? $7.17 because I made $83 today per contract. Does that make sense?
You got
I made
10 of them?
83. No, I'm just saying, let's talk about one contract. You made $83 and now you got to go lay out 800 to buy 100 shares, but you gained already 83. This is the way you guys, if you're saying I'll buy if it drops to 7, then go sell a cash secured put for $7 and make yourself some money right now. And if it drops to 7, you will have to buy them, but you get to subtract that gain from your costs. So if I got to buy at 8, already my basis is $7.17. You see how that works? I keep on trying to explain it to people and you're like talking Greek to me. If you made $83 today selling a put and next week you had to buy 100 shares for $800 because of that put, well, you have 83 in your bank. You spent 800. Your net outlay was 800 minus 83. So $717 would be my basis. $7.17 is going to be my average cost per share. Even if it only drops to $7.97, my basis will still be $7.17. I like that all day long.
That's what I should do with Palantir.
Yeah, if you say if you are happy to buy Palantir right now at $12, go sell some cash secured puts for Palantir at $12. Just make sure you have the cash to buy them. You'd need $1,200 cash in your account, and that money will be parked for 30 days if you sold them for December 15th. You can't touch it.
Right.
That's your collateral for selling the put. So you want to do it when the price of the puts are high. There's not every day you want to do that. You got to pick the right timing. You got to watch the stock. You got to watch the implied volatility. Join the Discord, or for free, go watch my options video and tell me, Tony, we need more videos on options so we can learn how to make money. I'll make them for you for free. Or go look up videos on the wheel strategy. One day I'll do some, but there's already a ton out there. Anyway, so that's what I did today, Mass. Besides selling my Tesla, I sold cash secured puts, middle of December, $8 strike. I will fully purchase AMC at $8. If it goes below, I'm going to let those contracts get assigned, and I will happily buy at $8. And if it doesn't go to $8, then I just get to keep that $83 per contract. And I'll have to decide, buy at 9, buy at 875, with my other cash.
Yeah.
The risk I have is if like shit hits the fan and AMC drops to $5, well, I'm still forced to buy at 8, and my cost basis will be $7.17, and it dropped to 5. So then I was a dummy. But do you think it's going to 5?
No, I don't even want to go to 7.
I don't. In my own risk assessment, I said I'm cool with that. I don't think it's not going that low.
Yeah, tomorrow might be the day I pull the trigger on that.
Walt, the man in the middle, says, who writes the contract, investor or broker? We're talking about when you're selling options, whether you're selling covered calls or cash secured puts, you are writing the contract. But if you want to buy a contract and no one's selling them, the market maker will write the contract. You become a counterparty with the market maker, and then he'll try and offload it to someone else. Or he'll just buy shares and hedge his options position. But you're usually trading with somebody. But if there's no one available to execute the opposite side of the trade, that is the purpose of the options market maker. They are there to make the market, to be the one to buy or sell options contracts if no one else is available to be the other party at that moment.
Are you doing this on all of this on Fidelity, or are you using Webull?
Do it
for
on
this?
any broker, as long as you have the appropriate level of options trading. And I did talk to one of my guys in Discord today. He's in Canada, and he said his broker won't let him sell cash secured puts. So it depends on what country you're in, depends on what level of options trading you have. There's different levels. So I always recommend people start out just with level 1. If you've never done options trading, don't bite off more than you can chew. But there's a lot of different cool things you can do like that. We don't have to just sit and buy and hold and be victims, right? If you're sitting on 1,000 shares and you're not selling covered calls on that, you're just letting money at this point. I know I said for 2 years, I will never sell covered calls on my AMC, and I never did. But at this point, I'm throwing the rule book out, Massalorian. I did it last month.
I understand why.
I did it last month. I sold covered calls with a $15 strike. And did it go over 15? Was I scared to do that? Yeah. I mean, you always think it's going to mow ass as soon as you do something stupid and try and make money. But
that's been my thinking forever.
I comfortably collected premium on all of the shares I had over the last 30 days selling covered calls, and I collected more premium selling cash secured puts. It's all about not being a victim, being proactive to manage your investment. And I'm happy to talk with you guys about that stuff.
I'm turning on the show, Tony.
All right. She said my time's up, Mass.
All right. Well, we're right at 1:45, so it's a good point to cut off, right?
Yes, I'm going to upload the video with my thoughts on Q3, a very quick walkthrough of the earnings and the financials, a couple of thoughts on it. I don't bore you like going line by line through the entire 10Q. And I spend about 2 minutes talking about the dashboard. So if you guys want to see that, give me about 10 minutes and that will be uploaded. And hopefully I'll be a shareholder again tomorrow, Massalorian, whether we, I think I have a good shot of us hitting $8 early doors tomorrow.
I'll be up keeping my eye on it with you.
I'll be up at 4:30. So, but by hook or crook, I'm getting back in. If it drops low enough, I'm definitely getting back in.
Sounds good. Sounds good, T. Sounds like a plan.
Thanks for your time, Massalorian. Thanks to the mods. Thanks to all of you guys for sharing a couple hours of your time and for continuing to support our channels and trying to help educate people on just accepting where we're at and understanding what the company's doing and trading the best way you can to either get out of the hole or survive until things improve.
Which I think they will.
We're headed that way. The company is headed that way. I feel like the industry is going to be even better in 2024 and 2025 than it was this year. And sometimes things don't just happen on the timeline we want. And maybe, just maybe, we get lucky and some FOMO event happens. But we're not going to be making 5 videos a day, promising that. Never have, never will.
Truth. Yep.
All right, let me find the outro here, Massalorian, and we're gonna sign off. I'll
Sounds
give you a
good.
few seconds to say your goodbyes while I pull it up here.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. If I missed you in the chat tonight, I didn't say hi. Over the weekend, I didn't have control of the board tonight. That's all T. So if I missed you in the chat or anything, don't take it personal. I'm saying hi and bye now. And love you. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. As always, the support is huge.
Love you guys. Have a good night. Get some sleep and watch the video that will be uploaded in 10 minutes.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast.